We are starting a new year, and what a better moment to have a plan to learn English, let's say, fast. If learning a language were that easy, well, everyone would be bilingual or even polyglots, but we know that's not the case. And that's because learning a language is not that easy. In my opinion, the hardest part is not learning the language itself, but not giving up when you get frustrated. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the ideas of Chris Lonsdale. He's a New Zealand linguist, educator, and psychologist, and he explains how you can learn a language, any language, fast when you're an adult. To be precise, in 6 months. Well, he says that basically talent and immersion are not a guarantee of your learning. And think about it. How many people spend years and years living in an English-speaking country and they never learn to speak English fluently? I'm sure you know someone. And that's because immersion helps, but it's not a guarantee, let's say. So let's get to the point. Lonsdale talks about 5 actions and 5 principles and 7 actions that you can take to learn a language really fast. Let's get started. The 5 principles of rapid language acquisition. Principle 1. Focus on the language that is relevant to you. According to Lonsdale, we learn better what we really need. So think about it. If you are working as a software developer, let's say, first you need to learn all the software development words and terms, their meaning, their pronunciation, questions that your coworkers and your boss can ask you, or the ones that you can ask them, and their answers. It would be of very little use for you right now to learn, let's say, the parts of the body, right? So you have to identify your priority and focus on it first. Use the new language from day one. Don't wait until you know more, until you understand everything, until your pronunciation improves, until you feel fluent. No, please don't wait. As soon as you learn a few words, use them. Create those opportunities. Be the one who generates those conversations. Don't be afraid, it will pay off. Focus on understanding the message and you will gradually acquire the language unconsciously. You don't need to understand every single word. Please don't stress about it at the beginning. Remember that the purpose of the language is to be able to communicate. So if you understand the main message, then mission accomplished. With time, you will see you will understand more and more. Physiological training. I find this one a little bit funny. So there are sounds that are not present in your native language. So you have to identify them and then practice making those sounds yourself. What I find funny is the fact that when you spend some time practicing these sounds, your face will hurt. It's like doing a workout, right? Because these are new movements and you're repeating them. So if your face hurts, it means you're doing it right. Principle 5. Your psychophysiological state matters. If you're sad, anxious, or upset, you are not going to learn. If you're not feeling well, either physically or emotionally, chances are that you're not going to learn or that you're going to learn very little. So, for example, if you tend to associate English with frustration and being tired and doing things that you don't really want to do, that is not going to help you. So make sure that when you sit down to learn English, you're feeling well. And here are the 7 actions of rapid language acquisition. Action 1. Listen a lot. Listen as much as you can, no matter if you understand or not. Now you may wonder, why listen if I don't understand anything? Well, because listening is not an activity that you do just to understand the words. It's something that you can do to incorporate the rhythm, the patterns, the music of the language. So you can, again, identify and incorporate this music and so you can be able to produce it yourself. Action number 2. Focus on understanding the meaning before understanding the words. Body language can help you understand much of the communication. If you've ever had to speak with someone over the phone in another language, you may have noticed that it's a lot more difficult than talking to someone face to face, because when you're talking on the phone, You can see the other person's facial expressions, and facial expressions and body language in general carry so much meaning. So don't worry if at the beginning you don't understand every single word. Pay attention to the body language and chances are you will understand the message, or at least most of it. Action 3. Mix it up. With 10 verbs, 10 nouns, and 10 adjectives, you can say 1,000 different things. You can say a lot with a little. You don't need to know thousands and thousands of words to start a conversation. Action 4. Focus on what is most important. With 3,000 words, you will be able to say 98% of the things. For this, Lonsdale recommends having one focus per week. On week 1, he recommends starting with a toolbox. Those are questions that are relevant when learning a language. For example, what is this? How do you say? And I don't understand. For weeks 2 and 3, he recommends learning the pronouns, common verbs, adjectives, things that will allow you to be able to talk like a baby with very simple words. On week number 4, he recommends learning the glue words, that is the connectors. For example, and, or, but, although, furthermore, and things like that. Action 5. Get a language parent, someone to help you. Lonsdale explains that when toddlers speak, they do so with very simple words and sometimes strange pronunciation. He says that nobody understands them except for the parents. The parents do understand them. So what's the role of the parents here? They make sure that they understand what the toddler is saying without being judgmental. So in your case, because you're not a toddler anymore, it would be someone who can be a native speaker that helps you improve and move forward without being judgmental, without correcting every single mistake, and someone who can use simple words that you can understand. Action 6. Copy facial expressions. Watch a native speaker and pay attention to how they use their face when pronouncing words. Just as there are sounds that are not in your native language, there are facial expressions, facial movements that are not in your native language. So what you have to do is, first of all, identify them and then practice them. And as I said before, this may hurt. So if your face hurts when you're doing this, remember, it means you're doing it right. And we've reached the last action, action 7. Use pictures to remember words. Avoid the common way of studying, which consists of making lists of words with their meaning in your native language. Please stop making those lists with the English word and the translation, because chances are you're not going to remember the words that way. So it's easier to remember things when we associate them with an image. So think about this. What would be more useful? To spend a few minutes looking for an image that you can associate with these words and remember the meaning of the word forever? Or looking the word up 1,000 times or more because you keep on forgetting the meaning? I think that the first one is better. So as I said at the beginning of the video, if it were that easy to learn a language, everyone would be bilingual or even polyglots, but we well know that's not the case, because it's not that easy and it takes time. And what's more, the most difficult part, again, in my opinion, is not giving up at the slightest hint of frustration. Please don't give up. I believe that you can do it. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend watching the original TED Talk. Those will be 18 minutes well spent. I hope you have enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye!